What's going on, everybody? Man, if you can't tell by the thumbnail to this video, today was rough. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to talk a little bit about a lot of things today because I'm getting, I feel like a lot of people are listening to the usual suspects out here on YouTube and we're getting burned. I listen to them. I do. I listen to all of these guys. And look, I feel like there's a lot of people getting burned. It's not just me. I think it's a lot of folks getting burned here. Let me pop this chat window out so that I can also engage in both chats because I'm streaming on both channels at the same time again. I like to multitask, man. I want to get to reach the most amount of people that I can get to here. So let's kick it off by saying today we were quite optimistic going into the day. I think a lot of us were optimistic. And then today happened. Now, for everyone, wasn't bad for everybody, but it was bad for a lot of us. So let's just switch it over here to the tickers. We'll start off with AMC. AMC today, let me just nix that. AMC today opened up at 52.20. AMC had a rough go of it in the pre-market and the after hours. It's just bleeding out. We can see it right here in the chart behind me. It's bleeding out. That is what's kind of been a continuum of this whole week, has been a downhill trend. Problem is that it hasn't been downhill enough. Sorry. So it hasn't been trending downhill enough. It's been trending downhill just enough. And a lot of the videos that we keep seeing, I see them every single day. Every single day, I see these clips. AMC to 100, AMC to 70, AMC to whatever, 1,000. The short squeeze is here. Mother of all short squeezes. Blah, 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 blah. Let's be real. Let's be honest with ourselves for just a minute. Okay? For just a minute, let's just be honest with ourselves as to what has happened so far with AMC. We're going to start with this and we're going to cover other stocks. What has happened so far? You had a hell of a movement. You got a bunch of people buy the stock when it was cheap. Stock rocketed up. A lot of people in the options world made a ton of money. They took some of that money, they put it back into AMC stock, and they've been holding it. We saw a gamma squeeze because it rocketed up, because the options play was so ridiculous. The options play was bananas on AMC. If you got into it, you made good money, especially on that 100% day. Jesus. Some people out there were holding options for 6 months. That just exploded, right? That's what happened. Then it kind of came back and it sold off and it's just been trading relatively sideways. We can call it what we want. Oh, it's a good day for AMC stock. It's a consolidation. Look, just don't consolidate for a minute. Here's what I think is happening. I think we have to step back and look at this from a logical sense. What I think is happening is you are in a battle with people who have way more money than you, way more power, way more knowledge, and way more access than apes. That's a fact. That's not even a think. That's a fact as to what's happening. And I don't want to say that this is FUD. Just want to tell you that at the end of this, if you watch it to the end of what I got to say and you don't agree with me, that's cool. Leave a comment. Say I don't agree with you. Watch this. We know that these brokerages take the data and sell it to a bigger firm, someone like Citadel or anyone else, a prime brokerage. They sell your trade before your trade executes. They know what you're doing. Period. So you're going to war against someone who's bigger and badder and more experienced than you. Not only that, You're telling them exactly how you plan to attack them. This is what we must do. You go on YouTube every day. You go on the news. You go on Reddit. You go on the internet, and you tell them, I'm going to attack you right here. You're not ready. And you know what they said? We ready. We are 100% ready. Now, does AMC have 100 million or 80 million outstanding shorted shares? Yeah, does. Are there additional shares being shorted that are not reported? Probably. Almost guaranteed. How many? No idea. What are they doing with them? Odds are they're recycling them. Odds are that when you look at the chart right here, we have massive spikes of green, followed by big spikes of red. Now, I promise you, plenty of people bought the high end of these spikes. The people that caused it to go up then shorted the shit out of it. Again, they recycled the short position. What is happening is AMC is going to end up building a higher step ladder, right? The cycle would, in theory, become a bullish cycle. When we look at it from a distance, it's still, depending on how you draw your line, it's still a perspective play to say it's bullish. Look, it's at over $40-something a share, which is high for AMC. It's high as shit for AMC. From a stock that was at best $10, $15. 40-something bucks is phenomenal. And for it to hold there means there's a lot of people that have an interest in holding the stock. The movement is big enough to sit here. Also, what I think is happening, I think the game on the other side, and this is just speculation based on what is happening every day. Every day you go out and say, we're going to freaking attack you right here. We're going to hit you so hard. It's going to happen. You're going to have to cover. And they say, okay. And you go out and you buy your options, you buy your calls, and you buy your puts, and you buy your spreads, and you buy your condors, and all that shit. And they go, cool story. Well, if the stock goes up 10%, and then it goes down 5%, and then it goes up 8%, and then it goes down 3%, if it trades freaking sideways, and I can probably grab some form, I don't need this, Fibonacci, I don't want that. I just need a box. Give me some kind of freaking box, right? It's not gonna let me do that. I want to draw a stupid rectangle. Bam. If it, fucking hell, sorry. I want to move my damn rectangle. If it stays inside of the box, it burns your calls and it burns your puts, which means that somebody then sold you options at a premium, and we bought them. I own a bunch of them, and they're going to be worthless because the stock's not going to move up or down enough or volatile enough for them to be worth anything, and they're going to bleed out. And guess who gets the premium? The people who sold it to you, which is not apes, right? It's going to be market makers or somebody who owns a bunch of shares or can borrow those shares to then sell you these contracts. Either way, that seems to be the game. Look at the chart. It's right there. I can move it here, right? It's right here. Plain as day. That chart goes 47.56. Those options aren't moving enough. They're just going to theta decay over this whole trading week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 2 days to go. If this stays in this box, all those options are going to be effing worthless. And they make money. And you think, oh, they only make money when they short it. False. They make money all the time. Do they lose money when they have a short position and it goes up? Sure. They have an unrealized profit and loss just like you do. An unrealized being the key word, profit and loss. You can look at your account today with AMC down currently 17% on the day. And you can go, I'm down 17%, but I'm holding and I haven't lost anything. Well, the people holding massive short positions can look at, I'm down $500 million, but I haven't covered, I haven't lost anything. The stock continues to go down, their loss continues to get smaller and smaller. And if they continue to make money both ways, the loss is relevant. And I believe that that is the game we are currently playing in AMC. I believe that. Doesn't make it fact, but looking at what we have happening here, the fact is the likelihood of big short positions to the tune of 100+ million shares all cover within a 2 or 3 or 4 day time span, or however long you think it's going to take. Highly unlikely. Do some of them cover? Eventually, probably. But again, once they cover the position, there's nothing to stop them from opening a new position. Just like this. Gamma squeeze up, short down. It's very evident that the game is being played differently. And if you want to beat them, and you want to force a new gamma squeeze or a new short squeeze, you got to play a different game. That's my take on what's happening in AMC right now. You have to play a different game. You have to, you need a better strategy than just buy and hold. Because you can buy and hold forever. And your account will slowly go up. Most likely, it will slowly go up. Because I think AMC will slowly continue to uptrend. And we can say higher lows and lower highs, whatever. Right now, it's not a chart that looks promising in any freaking shape or form. I mean, look, we go back to a 4-hour chart. It's not even bullish. It was bullish up until Monday, Tuesday, and it's not bullish anymore. We have to be realistic with what we're looking at. And yeah, that kind of sucks. I get it. I lost my window here. Oops, sorry. Hold on a second. There we go. I was losing my window of opportunity here where I could see what I was typing. So the sentiment does not look bullish like it used to look, right? We have a big area here that doesn't look promising. Is it a gap fill? Sure, it could be a gap fill back to $40. And then it could go back to $50 or $60. And if it trades sideways within that window again, it burns all the options. Some of them will be in the money. Don't get me wrong. You can buy options that are still in the money in that range, but look at the options chain they released. The options chain goes to a freaking $145 damn dollars. And there's no way that thing's going to hit 145 and gamma squeeze the shit out of it. Where we got screwed is right here. This day. This day is where you got screwed. The gamma squeeze was real. It happened. It went up. Crazy amount to the point where all of the options chain is in the money, in the call section. All of them. 100% of them are printing green. You woke up the next day, half of them are printing green. Because there's now double the options. So the game changed. They moved the goalpost on the field, right? You got to the 1 yard line. Most of you were standing in the end zone. You went to bed and you thought, we won. Tomorrow is going to rock it up. And guess what? In the middle of the night, they went out there and they were like, look, oh shoot, here's $77 damn dollars. And then they were like, we can't have that. We're going to move the goalpost. And it dropped down to a low of 43. They literally moved the goalpost 50% because they added that many more options. That's what happened. It happened in real time. We saw it. And now we're suffering inside of this box. A consolidation happens for a little bit during the day. You could maybe have a day of consolidation. Fine. And then you get a little bit of momentum and it's coming back. The volume has dropped significantly on the day from the run-ups significantly. It's not that it's like super low. I mean, it's 146 million, which is still way higher than the 3-month average trading volume for AMC, which honestly is not even fair to compare with because look at what was before that. It just wasn't, it was never big volume days. There was never really big moves. So keep that in mind. when you had these big moves on these days, this sucker jumped 500 million volume, 700 million volume. AMC traded back in January, $1 billion volume. Those are real numbers. That's really what happened. And right now, we're getting smashed. We're getting smashed. So we're not alone. AMC is not alone in what's getting smashed. There are other stocks that this is going to happen to, and they happen every day. And if you think AMC is the only player, the mother of whatever, that's fine. But as you're focused on AMC trading sideways, other stocks are going to the freaking, I don't know, I would say low Earth orbit and back. And let's look at some of those guys. We can look at GameStop because GameStop also had their earnings call today, and the sentiment is exactly as we expect it to on every earnings ever. Show me an earnings call that doesn't end like this. The stock goes up, they have an earnings call, whether they did good, great, bad, indifferent, 10% sell-off. Unreal. And props to GameStop for even getting to $300 again. It's high. It's so high. What does GameStop and AMC have in common right now? Not a lot. I keep hearing YouTubers talk about it. Oh, they trade together. They don't. This chart doesn't look anything like the AMC chart. Looks nothing like it. Hold on. Let me put them side by side just so we can be clear. For anyone out there listening to anyone who's telling you otherwise. We can look at, what is this, 4 hours? So let's put 4 hour, 4 hour. Right? These are no longer in the same realm. They used to trade kind of similar. And something happened. You know what happened? The game changed on AMC. They moved the goalposts. And on GameStop, I don't think they have the ability to move the goalpost as easily on GameStop because GameStop is not currently in some sort of epic squeeze. GameStop is, in fact, I would say, if anything, it is, and I've talked about this before, GameStop is doing something actively in their company to try to raise the value of their company to match the stock. That's why I think GameStop has held up so well. And while there are short interest positions in it, the odds of it just getting squeezed up to like 1,000 or something crazy number. I mean, look, we don't even see those videos anymore. Let's be honest. We see people following GameStop, but we don't see GameStop to 100,000 a share or some crazy shit, right? But GameStop is doing extremely well, still trades way higher in company value. So people are holding it. I think it will happen to AMC as well. I think it will hit a point where it just levels out, and now this is just the new normal for AMC. I think that will happen. But if you don't change the way you play the game and you don't somehow figure a way to get more shares for your money, then my suggestion is play option spreads on it. Bet that it goes sideways because you'll win. And when you start winning, they're going to change the game again. But if we just keep playing the same dumb game because we're dumb money, as they say, we're going to lose. Hands down. We are going to lose. So let's move on to the next one that just took a freaking baseball bat to the dome. Clover. Let's look at Clover. Clover had a hell of a run up. Look, I followed Clover when it was like $8 to $11 range. I think even like 13 once. And I made money, lost money in Clover. Clover had an epic run up. And then we had a big sell off today, a big rug pull. And honestly, could have been worse. It's really a gap fill at this point. Now, tomorrow, it could go either way. Tomorrow, Clover could turn into a solid rug pull, continue a giant head and shoulders, or I meant to click 30-minute here. My bad. Could turn into a big head and shoulders, could be a gap fill, and then it could build a slow bull flag back up. But I wouldn't be surprised to see some of these stocks that had the high volatility then come back down and trade sideways again. I think that's the most plausible thing that's going to happen. So Clover's sitting at $16.30 from its open, bro, at $28. To give up $12 is epic. It's epic. Also, to run up from $10 to $28 is epic. So it went up 18, it gave up 12. That's where you're at. Maybe tomorrow it has a little bit of a pump. Couldn't tell you. I know it's still pretty well shorted, but unfortunately, we don't have the data in real time to make these decisions. We won't know what happened until it's already done happen. That's the other part of your problem, the T2 settlement. I know Trades did talk about it today on Fox Business, and it's a real issue. The T2 settlement. You're 2 days behind. You're looking at data, bro. Look, it's like playing a sport like football, and I'm not even a football guy. I'll give you an analogy though. Playing a sport like football, where you go out there and you're ready to block somebody. If you think they're about to punt, dude, they've already punted it, caught it, ran it back, scored a touchdown, stopped you from doing this, made it through. They made it through 5 more plays. And you're showing up thinking you're in one spot in this game and you are already far behind. That's where we're at in the real world. The other one that ran up today was GEO, GEO. This thing, man, it went up hard and fast. I mean, the pre-market, slow, it started rallying up, and then it rocketed up, hit $11, and it was solidly forming a bull flag up the rest of the day. And then rug pull. And that's a big look. That's a big amount of volume. 30 minutes, 8.8 million, followed by another 200,000. I mean, that's huge. That's a big rug pull. However, we'll see what happens. This thing opens up anywhere above the $8.50, $9 range, and we could see it continue on the uptrend. It could. I think we hope that that's where it's going to go. A gap fill all the way down to $6 would be pretty rough, be pretty brutal. So we'll see. It was heavily, I think Meet Kevin said it was like 50% shorted as of like yesterday or something. I mean, it was way up there. S3 Partners short dating on it was huge. Huge. All right, let's move on. Another one here on my list is CLNE, Clean Energy Fuel. Clean Energy Fuel had a giant leap in the pre-market, like $9 to $17, damn near. 1672, sold off, hit the bell, spiked, sold off, started making a bull flag. This one looks to continue to be bullish into tomorrow. I'll be right there, Jonathan. I'll be right there, buddy. We'll talk about him. Mr. Diaz, thank you for joining the show here. I've went through GME a little bit already. I haven't gotten to Space or AEMD yet. I'm on CLNE at the moment. But I think CLNE has a strong push. It's still, I think it was 11% short, according to Kevin. And, you know, it still has good momentum. And there's a lot of good sentiment around this thing getting back up there and peaking at that $16+ range. So it's very possible. 52-week high is 19. It could get up there at $16, $17 tomorrow, which would be a good play. Don't expect it to stay there. Anything that runs that high, don't expect it to hang out there forever. We'll look at Wish. Wish took a big rug pull, just like the other ones that ran up yesterday. Huge rug pull is what ended up happening. AEMD. Here's where I have to preface this, because a lot of people are not good at math. And if you look at it at face value as someone who's not good at math and doesn't pay that well attention to the stock market, you're going to lose a lot of money real fast in a stock like this. And I'll tell you why. Because when you see it open up 300%, and then it goes up 300 to up 400 to down to 325, and you see 75% swings in percents, that's real. This happens. You'll see it from 400 to 320. You think, I can make 75% quick, even on a run. You can't. You're not going to make 75%. You're going to make much smaller percent than that. You're going to make whatever the dollar number is, because the percent up is from where it closed yesterday at 210. Well, unless you're in at 220, 210, or 221 there, previous close, then you're not gaining that 75% swing. If you're buying into a stock that's that high up, you're probably making 4 or 5% on that swing. This one's volatile. This is all shares. Keep in mind that where it closed, it's only down 10% in the after hours. If you bought in at $9 or $10 today, be prepared that when something's up almost 400%, it could drop tomorrow 200%. And if it does, you're going to lose a lot of your money. Like a lot. You know, I mean, I'm not saying it could drop 200%. I mean, it could drop 50% of that gain. That's what I meant to say. Not 200%. But you could lose half. You could wake up to half your money gone. So you got to be real careful when you see these. I mean, obviously, it'd be nice to be in it way before, but unless you were in this stock for some other reason, just you knew about this company, there's no reason that you would have ever bought it, as far as I know. I mean, it's some medical company, and aside from it skyrocketing and showing up on the pre-market top gainers list, there's no reason you would ever know about it because it's penny stock. Most people just don't pay attention to penny stock. Low cap, high short interest type stocks, they're just not on your radar. What's on your radar is what's on the FOMO list, as I call it, which is when you open up your Market Watch here on this app, you see the after hours gainers. Look, man, stuff happens every day. This is not uncommon to see stocks in the after hours have 50% gaps. And then the pre-market have 50% gaps. And the one day have these giant moves, right? No one even talked about whatever this is. Amber Software, AMSWA. It's probably an OTC stock if I had to guess. Let's see. No, it's a regular stock. Look at that gap. Look at that freaking rocket ship. No one talks about that. They're not on your radar. So that's real. You want to talk about space? Space is pretty heavily shorted too. And I don't trust space to stay where it's at. It's amazing that space is even at $35 because historically it does not hold gains well, right? Look, it just doesn't. It doesn't hold them very well. It has epic run-ups and then it has epic falls. And the problem with Virgin Galactic is they just don't have a way to make money yet. Their test flights are going well, but that's like saying Nikola's fucking prototypes are going well. Make a truck or get out of my way. That's kind of the same with Virgin. They've had some test flights, and what I don't know. I wouldn't say it's frustrating. That's maybe the wrong word. I would say in retrospect to other companies, look, SpaceX is launching people up to the space station. He's planning a trip to Mars. He's going to send people to the moon. Virgin Galactic's having a hard time just flying around Earth, not even getting to space. So he's behind the curve. I don't know why. Jeff Bezos is about to go up to and do the same thing pretty much that Virgin Galactic is doing. So, you know, you've got some things to talk in space. Space is really just a short squeeze kind of play. It might be a volume hype kind of play, but I wouldn't say that space is safe bet for maybe if you're gonna play long term. It's too high for me to think about getting in. You got to buy into space at like $18, $20 because it trades across that line a lot, like a whole lot. So keep that in mind if you're playing the space game. It's a volatile stock. It will have decent run-ups, but it crashes pretty hard afterwards. What else you got? We only got a couple people on the live stream right now. I was going to make videos on it, and it's just so cumbersome that I figured I would just knock this out and just get on here with these. You know, one of the plays we had yesterday, AHT. Shout out to Mr. Gonzalez who threw that call out play in the chat yesterday and had this run up, cashed out some calls for a good profit, 200 and something % profit on those. So that was a solid play right there. Anything else that's really moving? I don't think so. I say this a lot. The pre-market and the after hours don't matter. These numbers, don't get scared by them, right? We can look at Geo. Don't be scared that Geo's down 7% because between now and 9:30 tomorrow morning, this thing can go down 20% and back up 40% and then open dead even. And we see this in AMC. We saw that in AMC a lot, right? We saw AMC gap up in the after hours and then just open dead in the water. We've seen the big sell-offs right before the bell. Wake up and everyone's super excited because AMC's up 30%, and then all of a sudden it's down 10%. We see that happen. There's nothing you can do about it. Your hands are tied, especially if you're playing the options game. If you're playing in any options, pre-market, after hours, irrelevant. Nothing matters till that bell rings. If you're holding shares and you're playing on Webull, then by all means, after hours is your game. Jump in there and scalp the after hours trades. If you're not playing in Webull and you're playing in Robinhood or TD or some other brokerage, and you don't have access to buy and sell stock from 4 a.m. to 8 p.m., none of this matters. That's a fact. I've got call options that I can do nothing with until 9:30. So I'm not going to sweat what it's doing. You know, if we see a good run up and a good climb in the after hours of the pre-market, it might get your hopes up and you might get smashed. Because the second that bell rings every fucking day, 9:30, sell off. Find me a stock that doesn't sell off at the bell. Just find me one. Doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. Sell off. Sell off. Small spike, sell off. Sell off. Traded sideways, sell off. Aurora Cannabis today had a small little dip, and then for some reason, cannabis stocks surged today. I don't know what that was about. I didn't follow it. Someone probably said something about it. BlackBerry, sell off. Blink, sell off. Bumble, sell off. Looks like it went up, but it first went down. Every single one of these, sell off. Oh, look at that one. I found one. That's another weed stock, though, so we're not going to count the weed stock. We can look at any other day, probably. Sell off. Actually, Canopy Growth has had some good spikes at the bell lately. Interesting. Sell off. Sell off. Happens a lot. I wonder what's going on with Canopy Growth. Why is it having a good run up? Still ready to follow that pattern? I haven't been following him because Joe Biden doesn't give a shit about it legalizing marijuana. So it is what it is. But that's the common path. Sell at the bell. Sell at the bell, buy the dip. Clean had a good run today. Clean, it still sold off, but it had a good run. CCIV, it looked like it spiked at the bell, $1, and then just continued to sell off. I would say that the ones that do that spike at the bell sell off even harder. GameStop's down. GameStop's down a good bit. Could be coming down to fill that gap again. It needs a catalyst. It doesn't have one. A lot of these just don't have a catalyst right now. And I don't want to sit here and talk to you about a bunch of numbers that are just theoretical and made up. It's not me. I don't want to talk to you about all this data that we can pull off of someone else's website and tell you that this stuff's going to change, because it probably won't. It's probably not going to be a drastic change. You got to prepare for that. If you're holding for the long term, none of this matters. None of this price action. I don't even understand why you'd even look at the stock market. If you're going to hold AMC until it hits $1 billion, who cares? Who cares what it is today? Nobody. You're just going to wait it out. Set your alert for 100K. Check back when it dings. Until then, we're just going to get burned. I think that's their game now. I think their game is to burn the options market. It makes the most sense. It's how I would play it if I was them. What else had? This one had a good run up. SPI Energy. And then it had a sell-off. And I would normally say that most of these stocks don't give a shit about the meme stocks, as they call them. I wouldn't even know why. I don't even know how that even started. How did it start becoming a meme stock? Not really a meme. You make a meme about it. We should make a meme Cramer. Just make a bunch of Jim Cramer memes, and then everything that comes out of his mouth can just be meme FUD. But, you know, they don't care. Look, Trades will tell you about George W's. I saw at least two or three George W's today in various stocks that ended no longer W's. And if you go looking for one, you'll find one. If you're seeking it, look at that one. Look at that George W. Then what? What's that? Is that going to be another George W. in AMC? So we just need to keep going until we get the desired goal. Is that the plan? I don't think so. I think they're going to draw a box and they're going to say, keep it in the box. If they're holding 100 million short shares, they can do whatever they want with them. They can control it up, down, left, right. Keep it in the box. And at some point, they make a slip up. They get a gamma squeeze. There you go. AMC is now no longer $20. It's no longer $10 or $4. People are not out there. I mean, you see some kind of bought 2,000 shares, bought whatever. But I also see a lot of people that say I bought 2 shares, added 2 shares today, added 5 shares today. You know, it's more expensive. The lower middle class average Joe can't buy 50 shares of AMC tomorrow. He can buy like 2 shares of AMC tomorrow. And then he can no longer go to an AMC movie, spend all his money on shares. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some of the smaller stocks make big moves. It makes sense. Oh, what is that? Sorry, I had to reply to a text. So, if you're out there watching, what else do you want to talk about? Pick another one. I'm pretty sure that my thesis is going to hold true across the board. Pretty sure. I like that. It looks like Webull has now added where you can definitely see messages. I wonder if you can actually comment on here. That would be very interesting. Did they add a community to this? I'd be highly surprised. I honestly don't understand why they never had it. Why do they only have comments on a phone when so many people use a computer to monitor their stocks with Webull? I don't understand. I don't get it. But that's where we're at. I'm going to get off this one. I have some prep to do before the podcast later this evening. I will be doing the Free as Fuck podcast with Marshall. It'll be late. It's going to be like midnight Eastern time. It's going to be real late. But feel free to check that out. I'll stream it on both channels probably. So we look forward to that. And also leave some comments on what you want to know about some of these market actions. Look, man, I'm just a regular dude losing money with you guys. I'm not one of these YouTubers that's just telling you I'm making all these big plays. It's frustrating, right? I could tell you if I was making 50 grand a month off YouTube, bro, I'd be like, yeah, just hold it. Whatever. I don't care. I don't need it. If it goes down, up, don't give a shit. But I'm using my own money, right? So I'm with you guys. And sometimes losing it sucks, and we just got to be realistic. And we got to come up with a new plan. So join me in coming up with a new plan. I appreciate you guys who popped in here and figured it out. Left some messages or some comments. Hit the like button or subscribe to the channel. I do stream live every day, whether it's in the morning, during the day, or after. And let's talk about it. Till then, I'll see you guys next time.